Hey guys, this is our second video on phrases, and I just want to go over each of the types of phrases that were mentioned in video 1 to make sure that you understand each one. Let's talk about the phrase again. It's a group of words that's going to function in a sentence as one part of speech. It cannot be alone as an independent unit because it would be a fragment, and it will not have a subject and a verb together. That would be something else. So let's look at the prepositional phrase. We know that a prepositional phrase begins with a preposition and ends with a noun or pronoun called the object of the preposition. And here are some example phrases for you. Let's move on down. You can have a prepositional phrase acting as an adjective in a sentence, and that means it would describe a noun or a pronoun. So here are some examples for you to look at. With the pink slips is a prepositional phrase that describes the noun manager. In this sentence of the promotion is going to describe the noun price. And in this sentence in the corner is going to describe something, the pronoun something, of the desk is going to describe corner. Okay, let's look at how prepositional phrases can be used as adverbs. Adverbs obviously modify verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. To figure out if it's an adverb or not, use the questions how, when, where, and how much. So let's look at our examples. At the mall describes where she lost, where it was lost, where the wallet was lost. It was lost at the mall. Customers came with many questions. With many questions tells how they came. And then the rock climbers arrived late at night. At night tells when they arrived. So use those questions to help you decide if it's an adverb, prepositional phrase, or not. Okay, moving on to appositives. This was also something that you did last year, and a positive is simply a noun or pronoun that's going to name another noun or pronoun, and it's always placed directly after the noun or pronoun that it identifies. So it would be essentially two nouns back to back, or a noun and a pronoun back to back. So let's look at our examples. Bob's car, comma, a mangled wreck, comma, died a grisly death by the side of the interstate. The appositive, a mangled wreck, is going to rename the noun car. Notice wreck is a noun and it's renaming car as a noun. The next example sentence, Spot, a speckled cat, should understand my moods. A speckled cat, cat is the noun that is renaming Spot. Moving on down. My sister, a self-absorbed whiner, is always late. Whiner, a self-absorbed whiner. Whiner is the noun, renaming sister. So this entire phrase is the appositive. So when you have one noun renaming another, it is an appositive. Some appositives are essential to the meaning of the sentence and others are not. If it is essential to the meaning of the sentence, then you do not need commas. If it is non-essential, then you do. For example, this is just additional information that I do not need in my sentence. That's why I have to set it off with commas. Okay, next on the list will be verbal phrases, and that's when you have a verb being used as a different part of speech. The three types that we're going to look at are participles, gerunds, and infinitives. The participle functions as an adjective. Gerunds function as nouns, and then infinitives function as nouns, adjectives, or adverbs. So let's look at the participle first. The participle is going to work as an adjective, and you can either look at use present participles or past. The present participles would end in ing, for example, jumping, burning, speaking, and the past participles end in ed, t, or en. For example, you would have jumped, burnt, or spoken. So don't confuse participles and verbs. Look at how they function in the sentence. Okay? This first sentence, the car sputtered down the road. Sputtered is the action in the sentence. It's not describing anything, it is the action. In the second sentence, the sputtering car jerked down the road. Now sputtering becomes an adjective describing the word car. So to further this thought, we look at participles in phrases. In this sentence, we have swimming slowly. I didn't notice the shark on my tail. Swimming slowly is the participial phrase that describes the pronoun I. Annoyed by its heavy breathing describes the pronoun I as well. It ends with the ed. Usually the participle phrase begins with the participle, or a word that looks like a verb but is not. Participle phrases can also be placed after the word they describe. They don't always have to come before. In that case, it's usually set off by commas, as in this example, my sister, comma, burning the toast, comma, looked distracted, where burning the toast describes sister. Okay, look at the next two sentences. One of them begins with a participial phrase and the other one does not. Decide which one you think is the best way to word this sentence. And this is something that you might see in a CRCT question. So which one do you think is the best wording of the sentence? I hope that you are picking the one that begins with the participial phrase. It's number one, it's more concise. You can tell that because it's obviously shorter than the one above. And also, it keeps the author from having to use the in every single sentence. What happens is some writers have a difficulty using different and varied beginnings of sentences. So look to the participial phrase to add variety in the beginning of your sentence structures. All right, next up is the gerund phrase. And a gerund is going to be a form of a verb used as a noun. There are two easy ways to identify a gerund. It's always going to end in ing, and it's always going to act as a noun would act. So let's look at this first practice sentence. At the age of 10, Adam started running. Started in this sentence is your verb. And if you remember last year, you did direct objects. Direct objects answer the question, what, of the verb. So Adam started what? He started running. Running in this sentence is a noun. It is a thing. It is not an action. The action is the verb started. Okay, so running is the direct object. Let's look at another one. The quiet, steady rowing soothed him. Here, the quiet, steady rowing is the gerund phrase, and it's the noun in the sentence. This is the subject of your sentence, the quiet, steady rowing. And the verb is soothed. So what soothed him? The quiet, steady rowing. That becomes the subject of your sentence. It's a noun. Remember, subjects have to be nouns. Okay, let's look at the last one. My evening routine features jogging slowly around the block. The gerund phrase here is jogging slowly around the block. Features is your verb. Features what? Features jogging slowly around the block. This is now the direct object of the verb, and it is a noun in the sentence. So for gerunds, you're going to look for that ing ending and look for them to act as a noun. Okay, last but not least would be the infinitive. And the infinitive can function in many different ways. I'm not so concerned that you know whether it's acting as a noun or whatever. Just I want you to be able to identify it. And all you need to do is look for the word to and plus a verb. So look at this first example sentence. To succeed takes courage, foresight, and luck. To succeed would be the infinitive here, because you have to and then you have the verb succeed. In the next sentence, alone in her cubicle, all she wanted was to survive. And again, you have to plus the verb survive. Now take a moment and look at this last sentence. There is one example of an infinitive and one example of a prepositional phrase. To is used, the word to, T-O, is used twice in the sentence. See if you can figure out which one is which. Okay, if you said to walk was the infinitive, you are correct. And if you said to the store was the preposition, you are also correct. Be able to tell the difference between both. Now, to wrap all of this up, be able to use the different types of phrases to add detail and description to your sentences. Also, it helps you to be more concise with what you're saying and allows you the ability to fold in that extra information. Okay, make sure you have good notes on all of this, and I'll see you on the next podcast.